Well, hello, my soul friends. Again, I'm doing unexpected videos at the end of the year here, but so you're seeing me more than you're probably used to. But anyway, if you watched my last video on Mercury retrograde, this is me doing my redo in real time, resetting something that I felt not and it wasn't not an integrity, it just wasn't my best. So I'm redoing what I'm calling the end of the year self-reflection offering, which I wanted to do on audio so you could just relax and do in the comfort of your own home. But when I replayed and listened after I went through all the process of processing it, getting a picture connected to it and uploading it, I listened and all I could hear was shuffling papers and noises in the background. And I asked a couple people if it bothered them, and they said, oh, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. But that saying, when in doubt, throw it out. Like I was just like, something about it was not working for me. And if you follow my channel here, and thank you, this video is for all of you. This video really is gratitude. It's my gift back to my soul friends, my viewers on YouTube and Instagram, my clients, my friends, all of you that I am blessed to have you on my journey with me. So, yeah. So I wanted to redo it because I wanted to do it better, and not from a wounded place, but from a knowing I could do it better. But I think we learn and grow through the perceived mistakes. So I didn't want to throw it out necessarily. I'm leaving the audio up, and I recommend if you want to just listen to the reflections, which that audio was just me with my eyes closed, guiding you with my heart. And so this is something different. I took notes on that audio recording, and I'm going to kind of follow a script this time, which I don't necessarily do. I'm an off-roader in many ways, spiritually, and I don't, I feel like too restricted here. This is soul wants to be expanded, and I may off trail a little bit, but I'm going to follow the prompts that came spontaneous to me in the audio recording. So, okay. So welcome. And even with this video, if you want to skip past this intro, I'll put some timestamps in the details. You can go to the meditation. We're going to do a meditation first to drop into our inner worlds, to connect to that soul wisdom, to what I call connect to the sacred view, sacred awareness, which is our soul consciousness, right? To help us navigate the human experience. So, and then I'm going to do the reflections. So that will also be on the timestamp. If you want to just go right to those sections, do that. I am going to switch to my notes now. So you're going to notice that I'm going to get brighter right now. My lighting is a little off, and this is something I'm going to get better with in 2023. I'm calling 2023 the year to break free. And I feel it. I think we've got a little bit of, this slowing down time, reviewing, reassessing all that. And, the new year really doesn't begin until spring, astrologically, and nature, if you're following the natural rhythms of, in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. So no rush, but this is preparatory work. As we do this soul work, as we do this inner work, we're preparing for higher possibilities for our new year, or anytime we need a reset, a restart. So this isn't just for the new year. In fact, I say that all the time. We don't have to wait for a new year to reset or get back on track and get back on course where we may have, forgotten who we are and gotten a little lost. So these reflection questions can be for any time you need to pause, that sacred pause, connect inward, really connect to your soul, find where you are, find what's going on. And journaling these reflection questions helps you externalize what you need to look at in order to go in the direction that you desire. Okay, so I'm gonna switch now. Hopefully I'm not too bright, but it's just the way it is with this lighting situation I have. Okay, so I did want to first of all, again, welcome. If this is your first time to my channel, thank you for being here. And thank you to all of you who do view my videos on a regular basis and comment or email me. I really love and appreciate you all. So this is my gift back to you. And it's an opportunity really to pause. The end of the year is a natural, wonderful place to pause and reflect. It's that liminal space before we go through the passage to the new year. So I've got tickly hairs. It always happens when I'm on camera. I don't know what it is. But it's an opportunity to pause, reflect upon the year that we just moved through and hopefully grew through. So I invite you, you can pause this right now if you want to just go through this. It's about a 35 to 40-minute process. If you want to go, that's with me talking at the intro, the meditation, and the reflections. If you want to pause, go get yourself set up like a meditation cushion. If you want to be in your recliner or lie on the ground or lie in your bed, just don't fall asleep. Actually, I don't recommend lying down because I want to engage you in your own wisdom by journaling. So if you want to pause right now, go get a notebook or your journal and a pen. And I always recommend a candle because that is us inviting in the sacred, right? And whatever else you need to feel cozy, turn off your phone if you can. Just claim this space, the sacred space and time for you. Okay, so this is a quote. I didn't have this on the audio, but I found it today and I really like it, by Margaret Wheatley. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. I think that's really powerful, especially from a hypnotherapist standpoint. If we're not being mindful, reflecting what just happened, what were the patterns, what were the beliefs, where was I stuck in a way of being, and acknowledging that, and then recreating a new story, new patterns, new beliefs, a new vision that will help us move forward and achieving what we're trying to achieve instead of being on that hamster wheel doing the same thing over and over again. And we all know that old quote, don't we? When you do the same thing over and over again, it is the definition of, anyone? Insanity. So we're going to move out of that, right? And then this one I liked a lot too, from John Dewey. I don't know who John Dewey is. I have to look him up. But we do not learn from experience. We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on our experience. That's a goodie. That's really good. Okay. So to honor all that we've lived through and all those opportunities for evolving and expanding our potential, and we had many in 2022, or really over the last, 2020 till now. Even, for me, I was already going through a transformational process prior to 2020, still in it, still unfolding, still evolving, still learning, still growing, just like all of you. But yes, lots of opportunities served up in 2022. So we're going to review some of those to learn from them, to grow from them, to what I call gather the sacred gifts. And I always say lessons learned is wisdom earned, to really cultivate our wisdom and take that with us into the new year or to the new experience. Again, you can do these reflections or create your own version of reflections, questions. A good technique you can do is just open your journal, light a candle, turn within, and ask your soul, what do I need to know? Or write a question down, write a question you really want to know, close your eyes. What do I need to know about this? Open your eyes, don't think, just write. Stream of consciousness, see what comes on the page for you to support you, okay? All right, so I do again want to invite you to listen to this when you can have that sacred time for yourself. So pause again if you need to. And I'm going to invite you, as I do the reflections just after the meditation, I'm not, you'll hear me just say, here's the reflection, pause if needed, then I'm going to go on to the next reflection. I'm not going to pause with you for 5 minutes for you to journal. You'll do that on your own. Okay. So I really want you to think about this as like we are in a sacred space together, you know, in a beautiful retreat center or somewhere in nature. Okay. And I'm with you as your soul guide to help you connect to your soul wisdom. So here we go. Let's see. I just looking at my notes again. This is kind of different. Maybe this will be my new way. See, there are no mistakes, only retakes. And if we have a perceived mistake, it's something to learn and say, well, okay, how could I do this better? And so maybe this will be my new way of doing things in the new year, having more notes and looking at them and rehearsing a little bit more. My videos from 2020 through 2021 were in 2022 even were all about just showing up just as I was. And it was, you got to see me in real time unfolding and practicing and making mistakes and letting myself be perfectly imperfect. And that's how we grow. But I think, you know, taking it to the next level next year. Okay. Let's see. So again, I already repeated that. I really, really, really hope you take this gift of reflecting for yourself from me to you, my heart to your heart, my soul to your soul. But also, when we do our inner work and we take time to reflect and we take time to course correct, we are contributing something greater to the collective unfolding and transformation. So it's not just for you, it's for all of us. Okay. So let's set all that. Good. I'm just reviewing some of my notes here. All right. So let's take some time to harvest these sacred gifts and also to acknowledge the lessons learned, and also to witness with compassion. We'll cultivate that in the meditation ourselves, just like witnessing yourself as this person, like you're watching a movie. And really life is kind of like that. We are, you know, hopefully the leading person of our show. I mean, we are, but I mean, hopefully, you know, that instead of this side character, or what are they called? Co-stars. You're the star of your movie. You're the star of your life. And you're the keeper of your soul potential. All the potential that God has placed in your heart, your soul, entrusted to you. Not only are you the star of this movie unfolding, you're the director, you're the editor, you're the writer, and you're co-creating something beautiful. But first we have to acknowledge we are the leading person, right? So it is kind of like a movie. So I want you to witness yourself, like be curious about this person that you are, this human being that you are. Okay, so I think that was all I wanted to say about that before we go in. And by the way, this keeps flashing in my head. Usually when you'll hear me or you'll see me in real time, when I get an intuitive little nudge to say something, I usually ignore it first time, second time. This is the same way I work with my clients. No, you know, I'm listening, I'm connected to my clients, and I'll hear something and then I'll stay connected to them. I'll hear it again. If I hear it a third time, I'll share it usually. So I want to encourage all of us, and this is with me too, to check in with ourselves, not from how am I doing, or asking people, how are you doing? Because it reinforces the human doing instead of the human being, but rather to ask, and it sounds silly at first, but I really feel there's something here. How are you being? Or how am I being? And to me, that I got this in meditation, so I know it's a gift for me too. I'm still trying to unfold it, understand it, and see its application. But I think how are you being is not only how it includes how are you feeling, but how are you being, like being present? How are you being your authentic self? How are you being with this gift of life instead of unconsciously doing? Get it? Okay, so how are you being? We're going to find out in a moment as we drop into meditation. So I'm going to invite you at this time to pause if you need to get yourself set up. Light your candle, get comfortable, get cozy. Again, not too cozy. I want you to stay with me. We're going to drop from that beta consciousness where we're in a conscious awareness, where we're operating out of our frontal cortex and we're, in the logic, reasoning, and decision making and all of that we don't need right now. We're going to drop down into a nice receptive brain frequency, which would be either alpha or theta, which is a super deep. I have some of my clients that instantly go to theta. And of course, we don't want to go to delta because you'll be sleeping. So don't sleep. If I hear snoring, I'm going to wake you up. Okay. Well, this is the point of this meditation, is for us to wake up, right? To wake up our soul potential. All right. You ready? Great. I'm going to get my meditation bowl. And let's drop in into a nice, relaxed and receptive state, to ground into this present moment, to be present to ourselves with deeper compassion, willingness, and love. So I'm going to bring my bowl here, and it'll take us into that deeper state of consciousness, that soul awareness. Breathing in into your inner world, into your own heart. In fact, let's just start there. Just imagine, take your awareness into your heart space. I'm going to override the busy mind until we can quiet it. And just dropping into your heart. And just feeling in to what you access for other people. How we can access beautiful compassion, acceptance, and love. So this is why I love inviting my clients and myself to sit in our own hearts and just feel into your level of compassion right now for yourself. It's a good awareness to start there. How much compassion do you offer yourself? And I always like to use assessment tools, a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really high, very, very compassionate and kind, perhaps loving. And not, if it's not so much, don't add any judgment here, just awareness. Okay. And the point of this pause and offering sacred reflection, one point is to see where we could do better, or we're doing great, and to honor that. So if you could increase your self-compassion, how would that feel? And just be curious about that. Just welcoming yourself on the inner, welcoming yourself into your own heart, welcoming that compassionate focus that we often offer to those we love, our children, our partners, our friends. Just inviting you to that level, that sacred level of awareness for yourself, for this person, this human, the soul having a human experience. And even in a higher perspective, the sacred view, witnessing ourselves, maybe you can still notice some of that really conditioned and practiced judgment. We judge in our human experience. That's how we survive. And really the healing is shifting to discerning. And so one way to witness yourself in the level of your soul is to imagine or ask, how does the divine see me? How does God see me? Or how does the energy of love view me? All that fear and negativity and limitations, that's all from our human experience, the sacred view, where we reconnect to the divine. We see that beautiful possibility of who we are. We see ourselves with the eyes of love. That begins to melt some of our constricted, stuck, and negative patterns or beliefs right away. And we're able to stretch out of that limited view of ourselves or our abilities or our lives. So just breathing in. And I always like to invite in a beautiful crystal clear light at the crown of our heads. And whatever this means to you, connecting to the sacred, connected to the holy, connected to nature, beautiful, warm sunlight, however you connect. And breathing into that. The idea here is to shift focus, letting everything fall away in the external world and just dropping into the sacred, dropping in to that place of co-creation, of opportunity for a fresh perspective, a new beginning, higher possibilities. So as you breathe in your awareness to your heart, just sitting there with all that you need, and we're going to talk more about what you need through the meditation. But in this place now, in this connecting into your heart, I want you to invite in any safe and loving presence that you connect to for your sacred time, or maybe there's a spontaneous image that comes of a safe and loving being, whether it's your best friend or spiritual presence, Jesus, Kuan Yin, the Buddha, Amma, however you connect to the divine, and even if it's your higher self. Whatever way you will feel held and loved and supported in the space of your own inner world, in the space of your own heart. And the heart is expansive, so you can invite in any loving, kind, supportive presence that will help you cultivate a more compassionate perspective, cultivate more kindness, acceptance, and grace for your life experience, for the journey of life, through the year you just lived through, for this event you just went through, for the event maybe you're in the middle of, whatever that is. Also, I often have my best friend in the imagery because she is my go-to soul check. Tell me the truth. I say, I'm thinking this, or I'm experiencing this. And she, in a loving, compassionate way, will tell it like it is. So this is also, we want to invite in this perspective to get real and to take an honest look at where you've been, and to be reminded of what is still possible. That's really key. So yeah, inviting in a truth teller for you. So you're going to want this loving perspective that brings this awareness, that helps you be able to acknowledge. Acknowledgement is a key that lets us heal, that allows us to shift, allows us to move forward toward all we desire. The point here is to welcome in higher, sacred, compassionate view, to honor and learn from your human experience. Now, again, I'd like you to pause and just breathe in. What do you personally need in this moment to be present to yourself, to allow this time of harvesting your gifts, your lessons? What do you need? And just imagine breathing that in. Do you need to trust this process? Do you need some trust? Breathe in the energy or symbol or color that represents trust. Breathe it in. And exhale everything unlike trust. Imagining whatever you need, you're inviting it in your inner home. This morning too, I kept getting this message of, remember that your body is the temple for the divine. Remember that your home, your life is a temple for the divine. Right now, as we just breathe in, we're setting up our inner environment to be receptive to the divine, and receptive to our soul expanding in its potential. So what you most need, claim it, breathe it in, exhale everything unlike that. Breathing in safety is always key when we do our inner work. So we need to override those fear-based messages or alerts from the subconscious mind when we're breaching a comfort zone. And comfort zone is an oxymoron. It doesn't mean we're comfortable. It means we're in the known, what we know, what we're familiar with. And a key to transformation is becoming familiar with what we want to experience. Otherwise, our minds will block it. So safety, breathing in the energy of safety, safe to be yourself, safe to explore, to reflect upon where you are in your life right now, so that you can cultivate what you need to move forward, claim what you already have, and create a sacred soul vision for your future. So breathing in the energy of safety, and just feel the energy of safety, or some prefer the quality called security, feeling secure in self, secure in the world, secure in your being. And breathing out any fear or concerns. Now I invite you to breathe in willingness. Willingness to sit in your own heart, in your truth, and view what you are needing to see, reviewing with trust and acceptance. So breathing in willingness, the key to all transformation, willingness, willing to heal, willing to transform, willing to take the next step. Okay. So now as your body is just saturating in the energy of all that you need in this moment, next, I would like to invite you to imagine yourself in a safe and sacred place in nature. It could be someplace you're imagining in this moment, or someplace that you go to that is familiar and always meets you where you need to be met, where you feel so connected to your soul, your authentic self. And I always recommend connecting to a safe place in nature because it helps you connect to your own true nature. Don't you notice that when you're in nature and someplace that you're really just love being there, you feel perhaps lighter, freer, more joyous? These are qualities of the soul. So taking yourself in your imagination, doesn't matter if you can't visualize it, sense it, feel it, or just recall a time you were in a place that felt safe and sacred. Perhaps it's by the ocean or the forest, or by a river, in a meadow. You can create the ideal scenario that feels most resonant with your soul. An environment that lifts your spirit and engages you in your possibilities and engages your soul potential and your higher sacred view. So allowing yourself to be there with all of your senses, it's like a mini vacation. You're going to come back from this feeling refreshed, renewed, restored. Be there though. Allow yourself. Feel the earth underneath your body, or your feet in the sand, or your toes in the sand if you're at the beach, or the coolness of the air on your skin, or the warmth of the sun. Feel that. Be there. Listen for sounds that are soothing and soul connecting, like the sound of the ocean, or the wind blowing through trees, or a river flowing with purpose. Notice all of the smells associated with your sacred place, the smell of the earth or flowers or trees, or even you can imagine, sense, or remember the smell of something comforting like lavender, something that's calming like, oh gosh, your favorite fragrance, or I think of, gosh, pine trees or clove, whatever for you is calming and soothing. Imagine smelling that now. So be there fully in your safe and sacred place, really connecting with all of your senses, grounding in all that is there to invite you into your true nature, to expand your soul wisdom. Whatever feels right for you, you are the creator on the inner. You get to develop this. I mean, you're co-creating with the divine, but you and only you are the one that has access to your mind, has access to your imagination. You and only you. I'm simply guiding you. All right. So now that you've allowed all that you need to feel safe in this present moment and every moment that follows from here on, and you can do this part of this recording, this meditation, anytime you need to just drop in, ground, connect to the divine, connect to your soul wisdom, connect to safety, and all that you need to be present to your beautiful unfolding life that allows you to witness yourself in a more supportive, loving way. Okay, so feeling so good because you're in nature, in your own mind. And that's when we feel actually literally in nature, we're called back to this feeling. And this is a feeling we could access anytime, and a feeling we need for reflection, reviewing, and reimagining our futures, our potential, expanding and flowing past conditioned limitations and old programmed ways of being. Continuing to breathe into your special sacred place as if you were there right now. One last thing I'd invite you to do, again, you're in control in there, is to let it be the most supportive temperature, your favorite season, the ideal temperature that allows you to relax even more, allows you to have all needs met, that activates your awe, your joy, and your wonder about this precious gift of life. Just being curious with willingness now, feeling held by the sacred place that you are in, feeling connected to the loving presence that you have invited in. All right, feeling that sacred awareness expanding now. It's from this place I want to invite you to respond to the reflections I'm about to offer you. This is where I would recommend you gently open your eyes so that you can write down your responses, or you can keep your eyes closed and just listen for your responses, and then capture those responses later. You could decide. I just feel that if you do it fresh in this moment, it may be just some juicy, rich soul wisdom. So you might want to do that. So gently opening your eyes, adjusting to your environment, taking a sip of water or your tea or whatever you placed there for you to take care of yourself. Get your journal, your notepad, and continue to breathe in as we begin to review, to reflect. And again, you can modify the reflections. You can reflect on the previous year, which I will be saying most often when I prompt you, when I offer the reflection, or a specific event, or just the end of the day. And sometimes that's a necessary thing, isn't it? Just sometimes the end of the day, what was that? What happened? What did I learn? And harvesting what you can, the gifts, and also the places that you can course correct and learn from and grow from. Okay, so just imagine this time as a time of being still on the inner, so you can look into the mirror of your soul, the soul offering you a perspective, of your human experiences that maybe you didn't see or notice, that is going to support you in a greater way. So this may look like feeling, seeing, or sensing the symbolic meaning of what you lived through. You might have spontaneous images that pop up with the reflection questions. Trust those. Those are rich, and make a note of those. Okay. This is kind of like a guided dream, really, inviting you through, it's guided imagery, but very dreamlike state. Okay. All right. First reflection. Did you notice any reoccurring themes during this last year or the experience that you went through? Any reoccurring themes during this last year or the most recent experience that you're working through? And these reoccurring themes or patterns may look like disappointment, being let down, a pattern of self-neglect because you got too busy and you were taking care of everybody else but yourself, or a pattern of not getting your needs met, or a pattern of self-sabotage. Just note the themes or patterns that were reoccurring over the last year, and pause the recording, pause the video if you need to. Take as much time as you need for each reflection. Next reflection. What were these themes or patterns revealing to you? What were these themes or patterns revealing to you? Another way of saying that is, what was your soul trying to show you or remind you of? Pause if you need to. Next reflection. Where did you struggle the most? Or what were you struggling the most with? Where were you struggling the most? Or what were you struggling the most with? Again, you can focus on a specific event or a situation, or the repeating theme of struggle that showed up this past year that's familiar to other times. Okay. Again, pause the recording when you need to. This is one that you might take a little bit more time with, whatever works best for you. This is for you. Pace with grace. Next reflection. Where was the struggle familiar from another time in your life? Where was what you were struggling with familiar from another time in your life? In other words, where have you experienced something similar to what you were just experiencing in the struggle? And that may look like familiar negative beliefs about yourself that got generated or triggered open during the struggle. Or in struggle, we often will repeat things like, why is life so hard? Or why does this, whatever, fill in the blank, always happen to me? The always words, that's a reoccurring pattern or theme. Okay. Pause if you need to continue writing. Next reflection. What were you telling yourself about yourself based on that experience or during the experience? That's the richest place to catch those negative core beliefs. What were you telling yourself about yourself based on that experience? Or if you're reflecting now, what can you recall? What do you imagine you were telling yourself? What beliefs came up connected to that experience? And you can find your beliefs, like when that happened, that meant that I was, or I am. Those I am statements drop us into those negative core beliefs. And you want to keep dropping to the bottom, to the root. And the way you know you're there is your eyes will water. You'll feel it in your body. So that may look like it happens all the time with me and my clients, and they'll be saying, oh yeah, when that happened, it meant that, my friend didn't really care that much. If your friend didn't care that much, that meant what about you? That meant that I don't matter. And then the tears, right? We want that kind of a connection. So pause, take as much time as you need with this part. Next reflection, it's connected to the one we just did. But I did these spontaneously, and it's a way to expand the places we need to look. When the struggle was happening, it triggered the belief that I am. When the struggle was happening, it triggered the belief that I am, and again, that I am, those negative core beliefs. So it's another layer. And really allow any familiar, it reminds me of a time when. That's a good way too. It reminds me of a time when. Okay. Take as much time here as you need. Pause if you need to. Next, reflection. What I needed was. So during the struggle, what I needed was. What I most needed was. And this need, as you explore and you've made connection to a previous time when this was familiar, will probably be the same need. This is what I've discovered in my 22 years of doing transformational work, the place of the healing and transformation. It's where I call it soul medicine is cultivated. So offering it to yourself in the present time not only heals the situation in the present moment, but it ripples through into the past. Okay. So very key. Pause if you need to. Continue. Next reflection. What I learned most during this past year was, again, you can isolate it to a specific event or the past year. What I learned most during this past year was, or you can do it as the lessons I learned were or are, however you want to do it. List it, or you can do the big picture. And along that line, what I learned about myself was, pause if you need to. Next reflection. The strengths and the gifts I cultivated during this last year or during this event are, the strengths and gifts I cultivated during this last year are, and really take some time with this. This is the good part. This is, I call the sacred harvest. All the things that grew out of all that you went through. Okay, pause if you need to. Next reflection. The regrets I would like to reset from the last year or from this event that I saw, a way of being that I didn't like how that went. I'm resetting a regret right now. I regretted that I didn't check the audio before I posted it, my last recording of the reflection. So I'm resetting it. A regret that you would like to reset from the past year would be, or maybe you have a couple, maybe you have a few. Be gentle here though. Don't be too judgy towards yourself. Be compassionate, staying connected to compassion. You want to look for anything you regret, something you wished you had done differently, or an action you wished you had taken and you didn't. What are the regrets? Pause here if you need to. Next reflection, expanding on the previous one. In what ways can you reset your regrets? In what way can you reset your regret? Again, I'm demonstrating one right now, redoing the video. Maybe having a conversation with someone, trying again from a more compassionate space after you've dealt with healing your wounds or tending to your own heart, coming from a more compassionate, sacred place for both of you. So how can you reset the regrets? We can't go back in time to do things differently, but we can in the present moment reset a regret by acknowledging it first, and then by making a different choice going forward. Or, as I just mentioned, being accountable for what happened. I call this reset the regret. So what were your regrets and how can you reset them? Pause if you need to. Next reflection. This is a biggie, everyone. So breathe into that compassion in your heart and acceptance and love and trust. Is there anyone you need to forgive that you're holding on to that is preventing you from being free to move forward? I'll repeat it again. Is there anyone you need to forgive that you're holding on to that is preventing you from being free and moving forward. And here's how you can find if you need to practice forgiveness. And that is if you're holding on to anger or resentment, bitterness, these are like the wound is, you know, I have this terrible image, but oozing. It's like really unhealthy in there, right? In your inner world. And so forgiveness is the salve, it's the healing, it's the remedy, it's the cleansing agent, right? So if willingness, I mean, if forgiveness seems too hard to, I know it can be a giant big step forward that you're not ready to do, be willing to forgive and just write about what willingness to forgive would feel like, okay? The idea here is to forgive so that you can lighten your heart and move forward. You know, forgiveness is really for us more than the other person. And also to include yourself here. If you need to forgive yourself, maybe for some of those regrets, right? Forgive yourself here, okay? So take as much time as you need here to let go of anything that you're holding on to that is not holding you in a sacred way. Forgiveness is a beautiful transformational tool to free you and let you be more of who you truly are, and it allows you to begin again. So take as much time here, pause if you need to, as long as you need to. And next reflection. What's it going to feel like to be free of all that resentment, anger, and regret that you might have been carrying? What will it feel like to be free of all the resentment, anger, regrets that you may have been carrying? What's it going to feel like? Maybe you already feel some of it now. Maybe just doing that last segment, if you paused and wrote it out, you're going to feel lighter already. I guarantee you. More space for more love, more joy, more peace. These are the soul gifts that are ever present, always available, get shrouded and clouded in our human experience. So really we're cleaning our souls up here, friends. That's what we're doing. Okay, next pause if you need to, or next reflection. Here we go. In what ways did you change or transform or evolve that you really want to honor and acknowledge? I really would love to hear about these. And by the way, if you feel comfortable sharing any of these in the comments, please do. I'd love to hear how your journey has been, what you've learned, what you've grown through, what you've cultivated, how you've transformed. So comment or send me an email if you feel more comfortable. In what ways did you change or transform or evolve that you really want to honor and acknowledge? Take your time, reflect on this as long as you need. It's a good one. Next reflection. And don't overthink this. The first thought that comes to your mind, this is, I think I probably got this from dream work that I do with, I'm in a training program with Hayden Institute, and I have my own dream group, and it's something that we do to kind of like really get into the essence of the dream. So are you ready? If you could see what you just lived through as if you're watching a movie, what would the title be? What would the title be of the movie that you just lived through be? Okay. And was it a comedy? Was it a drama? Was it a thriller? Was it a mystery? Was it just one of those movies you're like, I don't even know what any of this meant? So just note that too. Pause if you need to, take as much time as you need. Next reflection. In this present moment awareness, if you could go back to yourself at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the event, what advice would you offer yourself in the past? What advice would you offer yourself in the past if you could go back in time to the beginning of the year or the beginning of the event? What advice would you give yourself? Pause, take as much time as you need. Next reflection. What will you do differently going forward now? What will you do differently now as you go forward, having harvested your gifts, your lessons, your wisdom, your awareness? What will you do differently now going forward? Pause if you need to. This is another good one to explore. Next reflection. Breathe into your heart. Breathe into that compassion, all that we cultivated in the meditation. What does the compassionate, loving presence in your heart want to say to you? What supportive advice is offered to you right now? Trust it, write it down. Pause as long as you need to. Next reflection, connected to the other reflection. How was what you just experienced connected to your purpose? Or what was cultivated that will help you deliver your purpose? This is what I call the soul medicine we cultivate along our journeys. How is what you just experienced connected to your purpose? And I'm going to throw this one last one in. How was what you grew through purposeful or helpful or healing? This, my dear friends, is your soul wisdom. The lessons learned, wisdom earned, that sacred awareness that provides an opportunity for you to choose differently moving forward. Okay, I guess I have one more reflection for you. So, not only is it important to reflect on where we've been, what we grew through, it's also really vitally important to allow a soul vision to arise to guide us forward and toward our highest possibilities. So what you want to do is to allow space for that, your unique soul calls, your soul nudges, and vision for the higher possibilities. So this is the last reflection. Close your eyes for this one and allow an image to form that represents your soul's request for moving forward, or a soul desire that has yet to be fulfilled. Allow an image to form that represents that. It may be an image of a vision connected to career or your love life or your own higher purpose or soul calling, or even just an image of somewhere you'd like to travel or an image of something you'd like to experience. Just trust whatever arises. Allow an image to form that represents your soul's request in moving forward, or a soul desire. And don't worry if you don't receive an image. Just feel into the possibilities, listen for guidance, or trust that you're now incubating a dream. So pay attention to your nightly dreams. What is your soul wanting to guide you to? What does it want to remind you of? What possibilities does it want to show you are still available for you? And trust that what you have just grown through was preparing you to step into this vision. All that you experienced or struggled with as, yes, another growth opportunity. All of it was purposeful to cultivate your gifts, your strengths, and helping you actualize the potential that is needed to fulfill your purpose and your possibilities. So it's like when I teach my soul visioning class, it's like collecting puzzle pieces that you've gathered along the way that you get to put together and, oh, wow, so this is my vision. It's the soul vision that Creator has for you. Continuing to stay connected to this and breathing in deeply to your body, continuing to feel aligned in the present moment with all that you've gathered, and knowing and trusting that you have all that you need to move forward. You can let go of the rest. Maybe we'll just do like just holding tight in your body for a moment, just feeling that constriction, and now breaking free for 2023, breathing it out and expanding. And you can't see my whole arms, but expanding all the way to be open for those beautiful possibilities that are available to you from all the wisdom you've gathered, and taking this time for the sacred harvest. You earned it. You earned it. You've earned this wisdom. You've earned the higher awareness. Honor your journey. Honor yourself. Okay, thank you so much for taking time to be with me. I hope you felt like I was right there with you, guiding you, supporting you as a soul guide, as an Anamkara, a soul friend. We are all needed on this planet. Not our wounded selves, not our limited selves, but our higher soul possibilities to co-create a, this is where I cry, folks. There's always a place in a video, but to co-create a beautiful future, not just for ourselves, but for those young ones coming up behind us, the world that we're going to leave them. Let's make it a good one. Okay. I feel weepy now. All my love. Thank you so much for the honor of being with me on my channel. I'm delighted and that you feel called to this way of looking at life in a sacred way and tracking the cosmos and our own souls to unfold the potential that God placed within all of us. Bless you all. Bountiful blessings for all that your heart desires. And I'll see you next time, probably in 2023. Peace and blessings. Bye.